Assalamu
Ahmed.
alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wassalamu ala man ittaba al-huda. Ahmed, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you? How was your Umrah?
Alhamdulillah.
How did you feel? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling absolutely amazing. Thank you so
Mashallah.
much.
That's
There's
good to know.
no experience like it.
No doubt.
May
No
Allah
doubt.
accept your
Alhamdulillah.
Umrah, Adnan.
Ameen. Jazakumullah khair.
Yes.
Thank you
May
so
Allah-
much.
I was there in June as well, alhamdulillah.
Okay.
So, yes, alhamdulillah.
Are you guys allowed to go?
Yes, we're allowed to go. Yes, from the UK,
Well,
alhamdulillah.
and on the British passport, they won't write the religion, would they?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. So,
Go ahead.
first of all, let's not make claims of no one's here, this and that, big things. You are a historian, you're a scholar, you claim to be. I want you to educate us today because we come on the streams and we, answer your questions and all of these things. You call it waffling. I have a simple question. And that question is, can you tell the listeners actually, whether India at the time of the promised Messiah, والسلام, Darul Islam, or was it Darul Kufr? Was it? I'm making this very clear. Let me repeat again. Was at the time of the promised Messiah والسلام, when he appeared, was India Darul Islam or was it Darul Kufr? This is my first question to you. And then
actually, the question is Darul Harb. Okay, the official state was Darul Harb, not
Yes, Darul
Darul
Harb.
Kufr. Okay, be careful with your terminology, please. Thank you.
Yes, Darul Harb. Yes.
Darul Harb. Right.
It was Darul Harb according to Shah Abdul Aziz. Shah Abdul Aziz
Right.
was the greatest authority in the Indian subcontinent when it comes to Islamic scholarship. He was respected by all denominations of Islam in India, including the Shia. So he was asked this question specifically, and in his fatwa, he gave a fatwa, and no one else's opinion matters after he has given a fatwa on a political matter in India, and he openly declared that after the British colonial or the East India Company defeated the Marathas in the Battle of Aligarh in 1803, after that battle, the British took Delhi, the city of Delhi. Then Shah Abdul Aziz declared that India is now officially Darul Harb. Now that's the answer to your question. Your direct question, direct answer. No
thank you.
No going around.
Second question.
But I have a follow-up question. I have a follow-up
So,
question.
Ahmed, was there a reason for you asking that question?
Yeah, he's coming to that.
Yeah.
We know where it's going. Just a second. I know where it's going.
Yeah.
I want to know from him. Yeah.
You've spoken for
I know
an hour and 4 minutes. Just relax. Let me tell you why I asked that question, because it's very simple and it's very open. Because that question now leads to anyone who then called it Darul Islam.
Let us explain what it means, by the way.
What
for
they
the audience. The audience doesn't know what Darul Harb is. Darul Harb is an abode of war, a hostile territory. This is what it means in Islamic terms. What is Darul Harb? A hostile territory, a territory occupied by the enemy. This is what it's called. It means. For example, for Ukrainians, Russians, the territory Russians have occupied from Ukraine is to Ukrainians Darul Harb. It's an abode of war. Okay, the war is going on there. They have to liberate that territory. This is what it means. So Darul Harb means the territory that needs to be liberated from the enemy.
So that means jihad is incumbent upon Muslims when it's Darul Harb. Is that true?
That's a very different question. And by the way, we are not addressing that question at this point. You want to address jihad in India and the history of the jihad movement in India? Very good, beautiful, great question. We can address that. Today the topic is, there are two issues at hand. Number one issue is the British colonial rule in India. Oppressive, racist, genocidal, xenophobic, unjust, or just, merciful, and beneficial. There are two options we have. All academics, I'm saying all means all, without exceptions, are for the opinion expressed in the first part, the former. They agree with the former, that they are genocidal, oppressive.
I've heard you for an hour.
Okay.
I've heard you, understand it. So can I reply now? And
that's the first question. Do you agree with that?
Not being interrupted, I want to reply now. Director, now.
Okay, let's minute. You have 1 minute. We'll do 1 minute, 1 minute.
Let's do 2 minutes. It's easier. 2 minutes is easier.
Okay, 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Let's put it. So when we're talking about the context of India in the time that the Promised Messiah ﷺ came, Adnan Sahib has just said that it was Darul Harb, and he's mentioned one scholar who's called it that Darul Harb. Now I'm going to bring him fatwas from Makkah.
You're changing the topic now.
I'm not.
Let me talk.
I
said we are not discussing.
We're not discussing jihad.
We're not discussing jihad India, today. Islamically speaking, we are discussing basic facts. Academic. Let's go to academics. Let's go and ask them if the British colonial rule in India. Let's discuss that topic directly.
I want to discuss people that lived in that time in India.
We can.
They understood the context in which they lived better than you and I. So calm down and let me take my 2 minutes, and then you can say this is a false analogy. You can say this is false equivalence. You can say whatever you want. But let me make my points. What I'm trying to make.
What's going to happen?
Don't interrupt.
I'll explain why this is not a good idea. I'll tell you why. Because you're going to raise multiple irrelevant points. And then what's going to happen is if we don't address those points, then we look like as if we are avoiding the topic, which we are not. What we want to stick to is the record, of colonial rule in India according to academics, according to all scholars who have dealt with the colonial rule in India. No one else's opinion matters. Okay, when you want heart surgery, you go to heart surgeons. When you want kidney
bro, let us speak, man. You've given a lecture for an hour and a half.
Ahmed, 1 minute. Look, I don't mind you coming on, but don't tell us we waffled for an hour. It's our program. We set the stage for an hour. Okay. We didn't waffle for an hour. Okay, so let's be clear on facts.
When you take the guests and let them speak, that's what I'm saying, yeah? When you take the guests, let them speak. Don't interrupt every 30 seconds.
Listen to me.
Yeah, go on.
If you don't listen to me, I'm going to eject you from the program. I have no allegiance to keep you on here.
We don't want to do that.
So listen to me carefully. No problem. I don't want to do that. So here's the thing.
No problem for me.
This program today has very, very clear borderlines. And the borderlines are colonialism and Ghulam Mirza Ahmed. So the question is, my question is, do you disagree with any of the historical facts that we've stated in the first hour of the program? Any of the historical facts that we've stated? Do you disagree?
Now give me my 2 minutes and go on a mute. Don't disturb.
Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me. You tell me what to do, I'm going to kick you. Okay? Don't tell me what to do.
Is that your akhlaq? Come on, man.
No, listen. Don't tell me what to do.
I'm saying, if you're asking me a question, bro, I'm not here for a quiz, bro. Yes or no? I'm not here for a quiz.
It is a Q&A. It's a Q&A, Ahmad, in case you didn't realize. It's not a debate.
Brother Hashim, we usually
I'm not debating.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I know, but it's not a debate. It's a Q&A. So look, Ahmad, it's a very simple scenario, which Adnan already mentioned. In the Quran, did Allah tell you to support the oppressors or to resist the oppressors?
I'm going to answer all of this.
Just answer the simple question before you get into
it. Brother Hashim, Quran.
Because they always say they go according to the Quran and Sunnah.
I'll tell you what Quran
says. It's a very, very simple question. In the Quran, Allah did not say at any point to support any oppressors. Okay? Like the way Mirza did in the case of the colonial Raj, the British Raj. He clearly mentioned, and he got recommendations by them.
Allah the Almighty did not also say in the Quran to do bagawat against the ruler. Now, the example that this guy gave
which ruler?
About Musa.
Which ruler? Are you talking about a Muslim ruler or a non-Muslim ruler?
Okay, so are you saying that for a Muslim ruler, there's one rule?
Come on, man, you guys think we were born yesterday?
No, the point is,
no one in their right mind, even from the non-Muslims, would tell you to go and support the oppressor.
Let me answer the question. You've asked a question.
Wait.
Let me answer the question.
Wait, Ahmed, step by step. Okay, let's keep it calm and decent and make it a conversation so people can enjoy and learn from our conversation. I'm really sick of these hostile exchanges and people being thrown out. So try to cooperate with us. What are we discussing here? We're not discussing. Hashim Bhai mentioned something. And
no condescending remarks, because that really doesn't help the situation.
It doesn't help. I mean, we are all educated people.
I haven't made any remark. Let's be very clear. I haven't made any remark.
You told him to put you mute. Like you wasted. Sorry, you were on about 1 hour. All those things are condescending.
That's not condescending. All I said, you spoke for an hour and a half or hour 11 minutes.
We have the right to speak for an hour and a half. That's how we planned it.
I know, but now you've taken a guest in. then let him answer the question. That's the point.
Yeah, but the guest has to be decent enough to answer our questions. What is the question? The question is a very direct question. We're not discussing Quran's perspective on rebellions. We're not discussing. We're not even discussing rebellion. We're not even.
Why did you mention it?
Wait.
In your muqaddimah, why did you mention Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam? You went from here to there. Don't establish a principle and usul which you can't stand on. When we come to reply, you want to run away now.
No,
so when you mention Musa alayhi salam and you mention Isa alayhi salatu wassalam and other prophets of God, then you have to stick by it. Don't tell us when we come that you can't address that. That's the point I'm making.
Let me explain. There are two issues. One is rebelling against an oppressive power. The other is supporting the oppressive power. There are two issues, okay? Keep in mind, be very clear on our question. One is rebelling against an oppressive power. There is no dispute between us, I'm assuming this, that the British colonial rule was oppressive, tyrannical, genocidal, racist, xenophobic, and unjust. I'm choosing my terms very carefully, Brother Ahmad. Try to understand where I'm coming from. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm choosing my terms very, very carefully in a calculated way. I am an academic. Okay, I know how academics work. Okay, I'm a published academic, alhamdulillah. And I'm not saying this to boast. I'm not saying this to boast. I'm only saying this for you to understand that I understand how academics work and how they write. Okay, so I'm using these terms very carefully. Okay, now these terms have been used by academics, historians who have studied the British colonial rule in India specifically. Okay, and they are the ones who've used these terms, including people like William Dalrymple, who himself is British. Okay, now
man, I've heard you for an hour, bro. I know what you're saying. Now let me speak, bro.
Yes.
You talk too much. Let other people speak. And I understand your culture. Completely understand it.
I'm finishing right now.
Yeah, please.
So it is clear that the British colonial rule was oppressive. Number one, that's clear. There's no dispute there. Okay, there's no dispute. Now, 2 points that we want to address, or you want to address.
Yeah.
Rebelling against such an oppressive power, okay, and supporting it logistically and otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay, through propaganda, through writings, and being a well-wisher or being a servant of such an enterprise. Okay, we're not discussing the first. We're not discussing rebellion at the moment. We are discussing supporting, being a supporter of such a power that's racist, xenophobic, oppressive, tyrannical, genocidal. You write books to support such an enterprise or such an endeavor, and not only that, you physically, logistically support them. This is the point we are addressing. Now, Mirza Sahib and his family have been guilty of the latter, not the former. We're not discussing the former. So please come to the latter. Address the point directly. Why was Mirza Sahib supporting an oppressive, tyrannical, racist, genocidal, xenophobic, psychopathic colonial enterprise in India? This is my direct question. Let's talk about that.
Good. The Promised Messiah ﷺ did not support in a sense that you're implying. What the Promised Messiah ﷺ wrote in his books is very clear. He addressed the British and praised only the freedom of conscience and freedom of religion that they provided after the Sikh rule. This is your intellectual dishonesty as an academic, that you say that you take out the entire Sikh rule when the mosques, Badshahi Masjid were turned into a stable, and all of these mosques, what was happening to that? A person who called out the adhan was killed for calling out the adhan. So when the Promised Messiah ﷺ is praising, he's only praising that element of freedom of religion. You have to be very clear. Now, the second point is when you praise one element of a person, let's say I say Adnan looks very good today, or one element of that, don't mean I agree with everything else that the person has done. Let's be very clear on that. The Promised Messiah ﷺ was a religious ruler. Now, in his time, you're not living in his time. You're coming 120 or 30 odd years later, and you're analyzing what's been done after. Now, all of these people that lived at the time, from the Ahl Hadith, from the Deobandis, from the Barelvis, from Makkah, I've got the Fatawa from Makkah right here, okay? From the Maliki, from the Shafi'i, from also the Hanafi, right? The Hanafi Muftis of Makkah, who said exactly against what you said, that India was not Darul Harb, it was Darul Islam. And why they said that is they said as long as even some of the
you're
peculiar...
changing the topic again.
Let me finish. We're
not discussing that point.
Okay, let me just finish this, and then you can say it's irrelevant. As long as even some of the peculiar observances of Islam prevail in it, it is Darul Islam. So it goes directly against what you said. That one scholar said this.
Your 2 minutes are up.
I didn't say anything about it.
You did.
No, you asked me a question.
Yeah, and you
asked me
answered it.
Yeah. I answered it, and I told you that's not the question we're addressing. We're not discussing the question of the status of India in light of Islamic scholarly writings in the 19th century. We're not discussing that point. That's a very huge topic. Wait. That's a very big topic, Ahmad. We're not addressing that point.
Why
Ahmad,
not? Why not? That's part of history. That's like leaving an element of history, which makes no sense.
I'll tell you why.
Not talking about the Sikh rule is an intellectual dishonesty.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah, go on.
None of the Muslim scholars, and this is the important part, none of the Muslim scholars alive in India during the colonial rule were fully aware of the true extent of the atrocities of the British. I will repeat this. And please listen very carefully again if you didn't hear it the first time. None of the Muslim scholars, I'm making this very bold claim, none of the Muslim scholars alive in India in the 19th century during the British colonial rule knew the true extent of the British atrocities. These atrocities only came to light later on after the independence of India from Britain or British rule, and scholars went into archives, they studied the records of deaths and policies and taxation or policies on taxation, and they realized that within those 40 years, when Mirza himself was active, or let's say 3 decades, 30 years, 100 million people died as a result of British colonial policies in India. No one can deny this. This is what I'm talking about. So your attempt to use Muslim scholars to debunk what I'm claiming here is completely irrelevant, completely misplaced, and those Muslim scholars cannot be used to debunk what academics are writing based on historic evidence, archives that were completely not available to Muslim scholars of India. So wait, before you
understand.
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. The Mufti of Makkah had no clue what the hell the British colonial rule was doing in India. Number one.
Why was he giving a fatwa then?
Wait. Because he was giving fatwa. You know what fatwa is?
I know.
You give fatwa according to your knowledge. You give fatwa according to your knowledge. And fatwa can be wrong. It can be false.
So he misguided. He misguided. He misguided the people in Makkah.
And when we find evidence,
and also in the Muslim world.
When we find evidence to the contrary, the fatwa can be thrown on the wall. And this is exactly how we are free as Muslims. We're not bound by any fatwa. We don't worship fatwas or muftis. You have a very different situation. I'll tell you why. None of these muftis, Nawab Sadiq Hasan Khan, Muhammad Hussain Batalawi, Sayyid Nazir Hussain Dehlawi, and the list goes on and on and on, Shah Ismail Shaheed, and Sayyid Ahmad Shaheed, and Shah Abdul Aziz, and Shah Waliullah, none of these people received revelation from Allah. They were not prophets. They can be all wrong. They can be all wrong on a given
Can be
matter.
or they were.
Wait,
can be or they were. Be careful with your words. They were all wrong.
Those who said those, I'm saying those specifically, and they are a very small, tiny minority that you magnify, your Jamaat magnifies. They were a very small, tiny minority that your Jamaat chooses to magnify at the expense of the overwhelming majority of Muslim scholars in India who were entirely against the British colonial rule. And I will bring, fatwas upon fatwas, and you will be buried under those fatwas. So don't even go into fatwas. That's why, why I don't want to go into this topic. Why? Because I know what's going to happen is we're going to go away from the main topic. Main topic is, what do those experts, those scientists, those archivists, those historians, those experts on the British colonial rule, what do they have to say? They are the ones we have to listen to.
Let me answer you directly.
Let me answer you directly. So don't go into fatwas. Don't go into fatwas.
Let me respond
to you. Don't go into those opinions. I've made it very clear what they are, what the value is.
Understand. So the only way that you can accuse the promised Messiah والسلام, of
collaboration.
Of collaboration, the word that you've used.
Or treachery.
No, you have to be quiet now. Be quiet now. You have to be quiet. Because,
I mean, because
then all of these guys are treacherous. All of the Ahl Hadith, all of the movement, they're treacherous. That's what you said.
Okay.
They were all treacherous.
Show me one of them. Okay. Show me one of them who wrote as a prophet, who wrote that part of my religion, part of my religion is to serve this government, number one. Okay, look, it is one thing coming from a fallible scholar who doesn't have ilmul ghaib, who doesn't have wahi. That's one thing. But information coming from a prophet, which is coming from Allah. Religion comes from Allah. Allah is now telling Mirza to make it part of his religion to what? To serve the colonial government. Serve, khidmat. The word Mirza uses himself, khidmat. Khidmat or khidma in Arabic means service. You're a servant.
I'm answering.
So wait. If Allah is revealing to Mirza to serve the British colonial rule in India, okay, is this a true prophet of Allah?
Yes, he's a true prophet of Allah because he is going exactly in line with what the Quran and Ahadith say with regards to it.
Okay. This is Mirza's revelation.
I'm telling you.
Quran.
Okay, let's establish.
Quran doesn't talk about the British.
Okay, you've spoken enough. I know it doesn't. It gives you a general concept of ulul amr. Okay, now be quiet.
We have Mirza speaking from revelation, right or wrong?
Okay. So are you saying to be part of a non-Muslim, be careful what I'm asking you. Are you saying being part of a non-Muslim government and to do their khidmat in any way whatsoever is un-Islamic?
A prophet of Allah receiving...
Answer the question.
I'm answering the question. A prophet of Allah receiving revelation from Allah, making it religion to serve a racist, tyrannical, oppressive, xenophobic, genocidal, psychopathic government is not a prophet of Allah.
Okay.
A prophet of Allah who speaks from revelation, telling his followers, making it a point of religion, a tenet of religion, okay, that you have to serve this tyrannical, oppressive power, okay, as your religion, as part of your religion. It's like Fir'aun telling the Banu Israel, you must serve the establishment of Fir'aun. You must serve. Otherwise, you're not true Muslims. No,
because Fir'aun did not allow them to worship and pray and also worship their Lord and follow their religion. There's a categorical difference.
The British did not.
This is what I wanted to ask you. Can you find? Are you saying historically and academically, you're trying to establish that the British did not allow religious freedom to the Sikhs, to the Muslims, to the Arya Samaj, to the Christians, to all of those people that were living at the time in India? You're saying that it did not allow them religious freedom. Are you saying that?
Good question. I am saying the British did not even let people live to have the freedom. This is what I'm saying. Listen. What am I saying? 100 million people killed from 1880 to 1920. Okay. 100 million people killed from 1880 to 1920. What the hell does freedom mean to them?
Killed or died? There's a difference.
Killed.
There could be policies. Listen.
Hashim,
I'm not.
Hashim,
listen.
wait,
let me explain.
No.
Let me explain. Let me explain. Okay, there could be forced policies by governments, right? There could be forced policies by government.
Do you know what 100 million means?
Let me explain. Yes, this is not to justify what the British did or what not did.
Sounds like you're justifying it.
I'm only here now. You listen to what I'm saying, please, completely. I'm only here to defend what you're saying against the Promised Messiah ﷺ. When the Promised Messiah ﷺ in his books have written about the British and support and supporting them and not rising and not rising them. Yes, service is. I'll tell you what service is to be obedient to that, and that's exactly what the Ahl Hadith and all of them did. Now the hypocrisy here is...
No, don't say that.
I'll tell you what the hypocrisy here is. Let me complete.
Okay, let's say all the Deobandis and Ahl Hadiths become servants of the British colonial rule. Does that make them right? Absolutely not. We will tell you categorically, there were a bunch of collaborators, there were a bunch of munafiqs, there were a bunch of traitors.
According to them, you were dal. According to them, you were misguided.
Let me explain.
And you were the beast. According to Muhammad Hussain Batalvi, who you love to quote, according to Muhammad Hussain
I don't
Batalvi,
love to quote him. I've never quoted
your elders, he says, were beasts who didn't have an iota of idea what Islam is.
Who first of all,
so I know where it hurts. I know why you. Okay, now tell me this. Okay, tell me this. Why is it the case? Why is it the case?
Bring up the article again, please.
Why is it the case? Why is it the case? In the Homeward Mill of 1907, I'm going to read something out to you. A great meeting of educated Muhammadans was held, okay, where at Lahore residence of Maulvi Muharram Ali Chishti and many others, it says, after a great deal of discussion and argument, it was unanimously agreed by all the Maulvis present that according to the Hanafi school of law, and any kind of usury was forbidden in India. Second, as this country could not be considered Darul Harb, they base his fatwa on the fact that Muhammadans enjoyed full religious liberty under the British government. And then it says, and were never forced to abstain from obeying their religious commands. Consequently, they declared India not to be Darul Harb, which was in no way inferior to Darul Islam. So you're telling me all of these scholars that lived at the time of the Prophet Islam, Nazir Dehlavi, Muhammad Hussain Batalvi, all of these scholars were wrong. And now Adnan Rashid comes 120 and 30 years later and tells us that everybody should have stood up and waged war against the Britain. So, you tell me this. Okay, let me finish. I'm quickly finishing this. You made a point. Adnan made a point.
Let him finish.
Adnan made a point. What was the reference for that quote?
Okay, yes. The Homeward Mill, October 19, 1907. This is right here.
Homeward Mill, okay. And who wrote it? Who's the author?
Who's the author? What do you mean author? It's a newspaper.
Who wrote the article?
They're reporting back. Muslims and usury.
Yeah, but who's the reporter?
Look it up.
Who's the reporter?
Look it up. Look it up.
Is he not there?
Look it up. No, it's not.
Because I just have one statement. So who calls Muslims Mohammedans?
Exactly.
It was a term.
Who calls Muslims?
What do you mean?
Read the article again. Read that article again. Who calls Muslims Mohammedans?
Are you saying it's a false information?
Yes.
Can you read it? Can you read it again, please? Just read it again.
You're saying this is a false information.
Wait,
Can
you
read it again, please?
Ahmad. Yeah.
Yes.
Look, it's clear. It's clear. You just read from a propaganda source. Number one, because
this is part of my research article. Go back and read my research article.
Another Muslim Mohammedans.
Brother Ahmad, with due respect,
that was the language they used at the time. Go back and read.
It is not. No, it's not.
It was. Go back and read.
Only by Oriental. Look, I've read them. Only by Orientalists and those that oppose Islam. No Muslim calls another Muslim a Mohammedan.
It's not going to be Muslim reporting it. It's a Homeward Mill. I didn't say a Muslim reported it. Did I say that?
Why should I accept it?
I didn't say a Muslim reported it. You don't want to accept it.
Okay.
You don't accept
it. Why should I accept it?
Okay. Wait.
Do you want to accept the Meccan Jews? You don't want to accept them.
No. We won't. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you
you don't want to accept the Ahl Hadith. You don't accept them.
Listen.
You don't want to accept the Barelvis, the Deobandis who lived at that time.
Why?
But we want to accept you who's sitting here.
Why are you so agitated? Why are you so agitated?
So
calm down. Bring up the article again.
I'll tell you why I'm agitated.
My response to all this bakwas is this. Bring up the article.
The biggest bakwas is what you've done for the last 1 hour. I'll tell you why.
Look.
Because your scholars...
We're going off topic. We're going off topic.
Your scholars...
The topic is... No, we're going off topic.
Hashim, put up the article.
Let me ask you. We're going off topic.
Article.
We're going off topic.
Your Ahl Hadith scholars were reporting to the government.
This article. Let's address the article. Okay, there's the article. Okay. All of those things you just read and put up and all the fatwas and blah, 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 blah. Look at this. Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
Okay. How British colonialism killed. You said not killed. You said died. Yeah. Earlier you were saying died. I'm not writing this, by the way. Yeah. This is written by authorities, two authorities, white Western academics, not Muslims, not anti-Ahmadi activists, not mullahs or Maulvis or Murabbis or missionaries. This is written by these. I don't know what their background is, but they are clearly not Muslim, right? How British colonialism killed 100 million Indians in 40 years. When you magnify the subtitle, which is what? Can you magnify, please? Can you magnify, Hashim, the subtitle? Okay. What does it say? Between 1880 to 1920, British colonial policies in India claimed more lives than all famines in the Soviet Union, Maoist China, and North Korea combined. Okay, so stop this shenanigans.
That doesn't mean. Stop this. Wait.
Ahmed, let me finish. Ahmed,
I tell you. I know it. I've read this. I have read this. I've already read this.
Ahmed,
that does not mean what you're trying to imply. That does not mean that all of these 100 million people were killed for their religious, for them being a Muslim, for them being a Muslim, they were killed.
Ahmed,
that's what you're trying to imply.
Behave yourself like you do on your own streams. Behave yourself. I don't know. For some reason, you come naked to our streams. In your streams, you are very well dressed, very well behaved. And when you come to our streams, you bring your I don't know what happens to you guys.
Get to the point.
No. For some reason, something happens to you guys.
Bro,
just
get to the point.
Down.
The issue is
let's have a calm conversation. All of those Maulvis and fatwas and Maliki jurists from Makkah and from Morocco and from Bangladesh and from China, from Indonesia, wherever you quote them from, I will, in response, quote 10 times more fatwas against the British colonial rule and the fatwa of jihad and the fatwa of fighting against them and documenting their oppression where they are not allowing religious freedom. For example, I posted on Twitter the very document that put my ancestor on trial. The reason why I didn't want to mention it earlier is because you're going to start claiming that this is something personal. Okay, I don't want to mention it because it's not personal. I'm giving evidence to the points I'm making, right? My own ancestor was put on trial. Okay, his name was Sheikh Minhajuddin. By the way, my genealogy goes as follows: Adnan Rashid bin Abdul Rashid bin Ahmed bin Muhammad Idris bin Muhammad Ismail bin Minhajuddin. I am a direct descendant of this man I'm talking about. The document is in my personal library. It's in my possession. Okay, and it's like a badge of honor for me and my entire progeny. You know, for us to look up to it and be proud of our ancestors. You know why? Because they did not become collaborators. They did not become supporters or propagandists for a foreign occupying racist, oppressive, genocidal power. Rather, they chose to fight them. And you know what was the crime of my ancestor Minhajuddin? In 1859, he was put on trial by Major General Becher. You know what his crime was? His crime was he was telling the Muslims that tum sab Musliman ho, apne deen par qaim raho. This is the charge in the Urdu language in that document that I posted on Twitter. This was the religious freedom they were allowing. What was the crime? He was telling the Muslims that you are Muslims, remain steadfast upon your religion. Remain steadfast. Hold on. There goes your religious freedom.
You're clearly missing something.
To hell with.
You're clearly missing something.
All those people. Okay. Let me
Ahmed, hold on. So, do you find the death of his relative funny? Is it a joke?
Not at all.
Then why are you laughing?
Not at all. Who's laughing?
You just laughed.
No one's laughing.
You just laughed. You did.
No one's laughing. What I'm saying here is. What I'm saying here is. What I'm saying here is.
Okay, wait.
What I'm saying here is.
Don't talk.
You made a point.
I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Wait. Okay. So stop playing.
Let me speak to Adnan. Tell him to not get involved. Yeah.
Okay, please.
Let me speak to Adnan. No. This is their stream.
No, because
my stream.
This is their stream.
It's my stream. It's my stream.
Come on, Ahmed. Okay.
It's my stream. Okay.
Okay, bring him back. Sorry.
Yeah, they keep gaslighting. Can you guys stop doing that?
Yeah.
Can we get to the crux of the matter? Can we discuss the issue?
Let's make it fruitful for the audience. Okay. Let's go straight to the point. I've already clarified. I've answered your question that all of these people, of these fringe elements, these are fringe elements. Nawab Siddiq Hasan Khan, in his book, what he said and what Batalvi said. Firstly, let me explain something to you. Okay, let's be honest and direct. Batalvi has no status in the scholarly world of India. Batalvi is not a known person. He has not produced any scholarly works to my knowledge.
Delvi is, Nazir Delvi is.
No. Yes, absolutely. You see, Muhammad Nazir, Sayyid Nazir Hussain al-Dehlavi, okay? Sayyid Nazir Hussain al-Dehlavi was an authority. Nawab Siddiq Hasan Khan was an authority. These two people, you quoting them out of context, this is why look, why do I not want to indulge in this topic? You know why?
Because it goes against you.
These topics require a lot of detail. We're going to go on for 3 hours explaining the context of their lives, what they went through, and why they gave these fatwas when they did. And none of them, not one of them said to support the British in their colonialism. Wait. What they said was, both of them, both these individuals who actually matter, who had an opinion.
Who names Nawab
Siddiq Hasan Khan and Sayyid Nazir Hussain Delvi. Both of these people, what did they say? They said, it is not advisable to fight the British in India today, and they gave the reasons. One of the reasons both of them gave was that it causes chaos and havoc in a peaceful situation. That's what they were saying. Let
me read it out.
Wait, Ahmed, please. Okay.
Now, can we have 2 minutes each so that
against
easier?
them, Ahmed, against them, there are hundreds, and I'm being safe. There may be thousands, but I'm saying hundreds, to be fair. Hundreds of scholars who gave a fatwa, direct fatwa, to fight against the British colonial, racist, genocidal, psychopathic, xenophobic rule. Hundreds. And what does your Jamaat do? What does your Jamaat do? You choose 2 people. What did they say? Don't fight the British at this moment, at this stage, because the circumstances are not correct. But to the contrary, why do you quote these people? Let me explain why. Because
Adnan,
be quiet.
You've spoken enough, bro.
Ahmed, you're causing this to happen. You're not being direct.
Let's do 2 minutes each then.
Let's do 2 minutes. The reason why you bring these people
Adnan, let's do 2 minutes each.
This is not a debate. Let me
finish.
Okay. Let me finish your point quickly, please.
The reason why you bring these 2 people up is because you have no one else. India had thousands of scholars. Hello, wakey, thousands of scholars. Out of those thousands, what do you guys do? You choose 2 who said what? That don't fight the British at this stage, at this time, because we don't have the power, and we will cause havoc and we will cause deaths, unnecessary deaths. Others, hundreds of them, Deobandi, Sufi, and Aliyadis, all of them unanimously are giving a fatwa that we all have to resist by any means necessary to throw out the British who were oppressive, racist, genocidal. Wait, I'm not finished. Now, why do you keep bringing these 2 people up to save Mirza? Because what did Mirza do? Mirza not only gave the fatwa, he said, support them, give them support, spy for them, work for them, serve them, strengthen the government. You have to be loyal to them. So giving a fatwa of not fighting them and giving a fatwa by revelation from a prophet. If a scholar like what Sayyid Nazir Hussain Dehlavi and Nawab Siddiq Hasan Khan said, absolutely incorrect. We don't agree with them because they were against hundreds of other scholars who gave fatwa to the contrary. So we don't have to follow Sayyid Nazir Hussain Dehlavi and Nawab Siddiq Hasan Khan. They were not infallible. They were absolutely wrong. They were absolutely wrong. I'm saying it right now, because there were hundreds, there were hundreds of other scholars who gave fatwa contrary to the fatwas.
You're done now. Let me respond.
But Mirza is a prophet.
Let me respond to that.
Mirza was speaking from revelation, and he said, "So mera mazhab jisko main bar bar zahir karta hu." Ruhani Khazain, Volume 6, page 380. मेरा मजहब जिसको मैं बार बार जाहिर करता हूँ यही है कि इस्लाम के 2 हिस्से हैं. My religion, which I express again and again, is that Islam has 2 parts. Mirza is saying this from revelation, from Allah. Allah is telling him to say this. एक ये कि खुदा ताला की इताअत करें. One is that to obey Allah. दूसरे इस सल्तनत की जिसने अमन कायम किया. Second, this government that established peace. जिसने जालिमों के हाथ से अपने साया में हमें पनाह दी. That has protected us from oppressors. This is what revelation is.
Which
telling
oppressors?
Him.
Which oppressors? Which oppressors?
We'll come to that. Okay. Now the question is, Mirza is talking about the British government, British colonial government, correct?
Yeah.
Yes? Correct?
Can you finish? Can you finish?
Yes or no?
You're not finishing, bro.
Okay.
How long have you taken? I understand. Yes.
Oh, correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Continue.
So we put up the article again. Put up the article again, please.
Is this some sort of a show?
Yeah. Wait.
It's not a show, bro. You
Put
made your
article.
point.
1 second.
Let me respond. Let me respond now.
Calm down, please. Let's a conversation. Let's have a
It's
conversation.
not a conversation because you're giving a lecture.
No,
it's
not
a lecture.
Wallahi,
We're not at a mosque.
I'm coming to
We're
you.
not at a mosque.
I'm coming to you. To stick to the topic, Mirza is not saying to not fight against the British. Mirza is saying serve them. And Mirza is a prophet. Mirza is speaking from revelation. Scholars can be wrong. They can be misguided. They can be completely misguided, which they were. Wait. Shh. Sayyid Nazir Hussain Dehlavi and Nawab Siddiq Hasan Khan were completely misguided in this when they said this.
They were misguided, yes.
Because the majority of the scholars in India were against them. Number one. Okay. So they were mistaken in this fatwa. Clearly. Because Ali Hadith scholars, Deobandi scholars, and Sufi scholars in India had given fatwa repeatedly to the contrary of what Nawab Siddiq Hasan Khan and Sayyid Nazir Hussain Dehlavi said. Mirza was a prophet. Mirza was not just a scholar. He was a prophet to you. He was speaking from revelation. So put up the article again, please. 1 second. 1 second. I just want you to see the article again.
I've seen it. I've seen it. So I don't need to see it.
No.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Look, Ahmad, please, bear with me.
Adnan, Adnan, listen. You're not letting people speak. There? You're not letting people speak.
Brother Muhammad, you have the article?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm just finding it. 1 second.
Okay.
But Hashim, am I going to be able to speak or am I not going to be able to speak? Shall I just leave?
Keep the article there because it's very relevant.
Do you want me to leave?
Okay. No, Ahmad, why do you want to leave now? The article is coming up.
No, I've seen it, but let me speak.
Okay, wait.
Now, let me respond to it.
I'm asking you now.
Let me respond to it.
How British colonialism killed 100 million Indians in 40 years. Is this the government Mirza was saying for us to obey?
Okay, are you done? Okay, now
my question. Now. Can you answer my question?
I'll answer it. As I've said before, it just takes a one sentence to answer this. The Promised Messiah Salam has never said what you're implying. He has said, since they have provided us religious freedom, we cannot do khuruj against them. Second thing is,
he's not saying that.
What you're saying.
Don't lie. I'm going to read again. Ruhani Khazain, volume 6, page 380. मेरा मजहब जिसको मैं बार बार जाहिर करता हूं, my religion which I express again and again is Islam, and it has two parts. एक ये कि खुदा ताला की इताअत करें, okay? One is to obey Allah, दूसरे इस सल्तनत की जिसने अमन कायम किया. Second is to obey the government that has established peace. This is the peace they established. Look at the article. The peace. I want you to see the peace when Mirza was alive. Mirza was active from 1880 to 1908, correct?
Are you done?
This is exactly the period when Mirza himself was active, when 100 million people were killed. Now, is this the government Mirza is asking us to obey? I'm asking a question.
Are you done? Okay, finish now.
My question,
What Adnan Rashid is saying basically is that these scholars were munafiqeen. Basically, they said that, let me make my point. Let me make my point. Let me make my point.
You're wasting your time.
I'm not wasting your time. Okay. No, because
I have dealt with the scholars. I'm asking you, Mirza,
let me respond.
Is Mirza as a prophet?
You're saying something and running away from it. Let me read what they've said. Give me my 2 minutes. Give me my 2 minutes.
All scholars in India can be wrong. All can be wrong. It changes. It doesn't change anything in
You're
Islam.
wrong.
Mirza was a prophet. Mirza, Ahmad, try not to use scholars who are not prophets. Scholars are not prophets. They can make mistakes. They don't have revelation. Mirza had revelation from Allah.
They can't make such a...
He's claiming, Ahmad, that Allah commanded him to tell
his followers. You're so difficult, bro. You don't let people speak.
Ahmad, you're not answering the question. He's claiming Allah has commanded him to tell his followers to obey this government. How British colonialism killed 100 million people. Indians in 40 years. The same period when Mirza is writing this. By the way, Mirza is writing from revelation when this is taking place. When 100 million people in India are being killed from 1880 to 1920 when Mirza is active. This is when Mirza is writing this, that my religion has two parts. One is to obey Allah. The second is to obey this government. This government?
Can you be silent now? Now don't disturb. Okay, you've done You've clearly mentioned here. I'm answering your question. As I said right at the beginning, you said British colonial policies in India claimed more lives than all.
Killed.
That's the read underneath it. Between 1880 to 1920.
Yeah, what does the heading say?
Well, the headline is killed.
Listen, relax.
Oh
calm down.
This is hilarious, by the way. Yeah?
More lives than all famines in whatever.
And it's not funny that 100 million people were killed. I'm not laughing at that.
It's not funny.
I'm just laughing at your behavior.
Your implication is so flawed. What you're trying to imply.
It's not implication. It's a direct calculation.
It's not. Okay. Yes, people. I'm not denying this. What you're saying here. Not anywhere the Promised Messiah ﷺ has supported dying of people. That's not what he said.
Oh, but he said,
can you be silent and listen? Can you be silent and listen? Let's see what he said.
He's supporting the very criminals.
Let's see what he said. What he said.
Yeah.
He said, and I'll tell you what he said. I'm going to read it off, as you've read it out from the Prophet Messiah's writings. I'm going to read it from Messiah, and he says, "So be advised, O you who are uninformed, I do not indulge in any flattery of this government. Rather, in the light of the Holy Quran, it is prohibited to wage a religious war against a government which does not itself interfere in the religion of Islam or religious practices."
Where does the Quran say that?
I'll tell you, be quiet. Nor does it draw its sword against us in an attempt to promote its own religious beliefs. The reason for that is that this government is not waging any religious war. Now, when the Muslims migrated to Najashi, there was a reason they migrated to it. And when Rasulullah ﷺ received, when they migrated to Medina after all the oppression, what was the verse Rasulullah received? أُذِنَ لِلَّذِينَ يُقَاتَلُونَ بِأَنَّهُمْ ظُلِمُوا. That the permission to fight is only granted بِأَنَّهُمْ ظُلِمُوا, because they have been wrong. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى نَصْرِهِمْ لَقَدِيرٌ. The next part says they've been kicked out of their homes because of their beliefs. So don't try to bring these Nazir Delvi, who was a top scholar, and you've given lectures on it. Don't try to bring Nawab Sadiq Hasan Khan Sahib from Ahl Hadith, who says, "Koi firqa hamari tahqiq mein ज़्यादातर खैर खा और तालिब अमन व अमान और आसाइश रियाया का और कदर शनास इस बंदोबस्त गवर्नमेंट का इस."
Why are you quoting them again?
Because you said what you said was wrong. You just said they said don't fight them because we don't have enough people. That's not what they said.
No,
you lied on the scholars.
No. I didn't mention.
Let me complete. Let me complete.
Read.
Okay. He said is grocery जो आपको अहले सुन्नत हदीस कहता है.
They are irrelevant to our discussion.
और किस मज़हब और खास का मुक़ल्लिद नहीं. He says no sect in our research is more benevolent.
I'm not talking about Nazir. I'm not talking about Sayyid Nazir Hussain Delvi. I'm not talking about Nawab Siddiq Hasan Khan. They're not prophets. They're not prophets. They're irrelevant to our discussion. We're discussing a prophet.
Yes.
We are discussing a prophet. And you said you said he did not flatter the government, which he himself wrote. He was a liar. Guess what? I will read now from his own writings and tell me if this is not flattery. Okay. Rouhani Khazain.
Adnan, you've spoken enough. You got to let me speak. No, Adnan, listen. Let's relax.
Wait.
Let me speak for 1 minute and then I'll be silent and you speak. Okay. Let me speak for 1 minute.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the entire context in which we're having this discussion, as I said, the Prophet ﷺ said, you cannot wage war against a government which does not prohibit you from practicing your religion. That was the case in India, and that was the only thing that Prophet ﷺ praised. When he writes to the Queen, inviting her to Islam and all of these things, it is in that context that he's doing. Now, the point that we're trying to establish here is, and that's one of historical fact he misses, is I'm claiming this here. Either Adnan Rashid is a munafiq or his scholars were munafiqeen, and I'll prove it why. His scholars at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and the very scholars that I'm quoting here, Ahl Hadith, they were reporting to the government that the Prophet Messiah, in accordance with his claim of being the Mahdi, he has seditious nature. And that way he's going to raise an army against the people, against the government. And the Civil Military Gazette in Lahore, October 24, 1894, published an article titled "A Dangerous Fanatic," where they described the Prophet Messiah having seditious natures because of his claim of being the Mahdi. Here are his scholars 120 years ago telling the government that this man has seditious natures. And here's 120 years later, Adnan Rashid, who's saying
your minute is up. Your minute
is not up. Let me finish. Let me finish my last point.
Go ahead.
Okay. So now it's either Adnan Rashid who is right, and for this reason they had employed people in Qadian who would write names down of the people that would come to meet him and everything. That's the very reason the Prophet ﷺ had to write all over in his books that we have been loyal to the government. And the repercussion, last sentence, the repercussion, as an historian you should know, you've given a lecture on Nawab Sadiq Hasan Khan, is that he was put under house arrest for his claim that when the Mahdi comes, even the British will be put under, chains and everything like that. So these were the repercussions that of these false reports that your ulama at the time, the ulama usu at the time, what were given to the government. And now you come 120 years later, totally change the narrative. So you tell me whether they were munafiqeen or what you're saying is nifaq, meaning hypocrisy.
Okay.
Answer.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Adnan Rashid being a munafiq, Nawab Sadiq Hasan Khan being a munafiq, or Sayyid Nazir Hussain being a munafiq, A'udhu Billah, or all the scholars of India, let's say, put them all in one basket. Whether they were munafiqs or not is not the question that we are addressing. We're discussing a prophet. Scholars can all be munafiqs. They can all be munafiqs. But they are still not prophets. Okay, they can make mistakes. They can be wrong. They can be wrong, and in many cases they were wrong. Absolutely. Wait. We are not discussing scholars.
Let me say clearly one thing.
Wait.
The promised Messiah was not wrong.
I was quiet.
Please.
I was silent.
Please, yes.
Wait.
1 minute. I'm going to use my phone.
Scholars can make mistakes, and you quoted two, and you stick to two, amazingly ignoring all other. For example, Sheikh Rahmatullah Kairanawi. Okay, the very man who debated Fander in 1854 in the city of Agra, the author of Izharul Haq, who actually broke the cross. You know why the Indian mutiny took place? You were crying about British not forcing their religion upon the masses. You have no idea. Have you ever read a basic book on the history of Indian mutiny, 1857, or the War of Independence? Depending on which perspective you take, because from the British perspective, it was a mutiny, it was a rebellion. From the Indian perspective, it was a war of independence. Okay, have you ever read a book on it? Let me tell you what caused the rebellion. Forcing of the religion. Let me very quickly.
I love it. I love this. I love that discussion.
One second. You love this discussion because it's going off the topic.
No, it's going on the topic.
That's why
it's going on the topic.
I need to put the charger very quickly. Give me 1 second.
So can I take this 1 minute and then he comes back?
He needs to listen. He's not listening right now.
1 second, guys. I need to put the charger in so that my phone doesn't die while I'm live, because then some Ahmadis, they start claiming that the Holy Spirit is working. Yeah.
Nobody
claims that. Always.
There's no Holy Spirit here, only jinns.
No, there are some Holy Spirits helping the Qadiani.
Oh, there are. Okay.
My internet goes down, and something happens to my internet.
Well, that's because we don't pay the ISP bills.
Yeah,
that's probably why.
So no problem. Now the charger is in. So okay.
Yeah,
so
can you put the timer, please, Hashim bhai? It'll be nice. It'll be a good discussion. I'm not going to interrupt, and then you speak, and then I'll speak. I think it'll be nice. Okay. Let's put a timer for 2 minutes for Brother Adnan, and then I'll speak.
We'll keep it to 1 minute. I think that'll be good.
1 minute. 1 minute is better. Okay.
Yeah, we're observing here. That's fine.
Yeah. So very quickly. Okay.
Start, please.
Look, the question of scholarship is completely irrelevant. Don't keep bringing it up because I've already addressed it. I've made it very clear. Sheikh Rahmatullah Kairanawi was one of the scholars who gave fatwa for jihad against the British, and he had to leave India, move to Mecca, and he died in Mecca. Okay, so many other scholars. Why do you not mention them? Why are you sticking to two scholars? For the Twitter is infested by your posts. You keep quoting from the books. You keep posting scans from the books because you have no one else. In all of India, you could find only two scholars to post from, because all Indian scholars, Sufis, Ahle Hadith, and Deobandi, were all against the British colonial rule, and they gave fatwa to fight against them. Okay, so it's very, very clear. So stop bringing this up again and again. Those two scholars are irrelevant. They are like salt in the sea. Okay, this fatwa, no one accepts it. Okay, stop using it against us because it doesn't work.
Time up.
They're scholars, they're not prophets. Okay?
Time up.
Yeah, 1 minute. My 1 minute is over. Over to you.
MashaAllah. Okay, so Adnan slightly wanted to go towards the them forcing religion, and one of the things I want to emphasize, and he would never mention as an academic, is what were the common interests of the church and state in India. That's the most important point. Yes, one thing was colonialism. The second thing was to spread Christianity. So few references I want to give him. The Sir Charles Wood, who was the Minister of State of India, he declared that the acceptance of the Christian faith was what? A bond of union with England and an additional source of strength for the empire. Yes. Then Sir John Lawrence, something as a historian you want to hide. The Viceroy and Governor General of India attributed the mutiny of 1857 to their timidity as a Christian nation in matter of religion. Nothing more, he said, easily would conduce to the strength of the power in India than the spread of Christianity. Then Sir Herbert Edwards, Major General, what did he say? Caused not by the attempts to disseminate Christianity, but by keeping back Christianity from the people. That was their main goal of establishing Christianity. What did the promised Messiah والسلام, do? And what did the academics like Ron Gies, who's writing today, is that he clearly fought and clearly disproved the Christian doctrine, not just through arguments, but through heavenly science. Let's come to that as well now.
Ahmad amazingly, start my 1 minute. Ahmad amazingly proved my point, okay, that they were forcing religion upon the Indians. That's why they rebelled. Okay, the issue of cartridges. Okay, Hindus were given the cartridge with cow fat to chew, and the Muslims were given cartridges with pig fat to chew. These were cartridges they had to chew in order to put the gunpowder in the muzzle, because these were old matchlock guns. Okay, that's why they rebelled, because they didn't want to be Christian. Okay, so stop saying that they were not forcing religion. They were. And at this very time, Ghulam Murtaza, the father of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, sent 50 horsemen and with horses to the British to support them logistically, physically, in war against their own people, traitors. Okay, and then you talk about flattery. Mirza wrote panegyrics to Queen Victoria. Okay, and you keep posting for one of my long lectures on British colonialism, which is actually dismantling colonialism, which is against colonialism. You keep posting one clip that I was praising Queen Victoria. I wasn't. I was saying she was a kind woman, which she was. She had no idea what was happening.
Time up.
Go.
Time up. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying as well, that the promised Messiah والسلام, did not support or had stated that this colonial rule or whatever was happening at the time, which you have yourself said that he was unaware before, he did not support that. Be honest with what he has mentioned. He has mentioned that the British rule that he's in, it grants them religious freedom, right? He has the very purpose of them to establish Christianity. Now, what you said, establish Christianity through force, that wasn't the case. They did it through medical schools. They did it through various ways, Christian missionary societies in various parts. Those very Christian missionary societies were reporting back to their Christian missions, and I've got references here. They were telling that this man, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, is the fierce enemy of Christianity in India at that time.
Oh my God.
I'm going to give you references. Okay, you're saying no. Let me tell you, this is from the preface of Urdu translation of Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi. He said, in that period, British Lefroy gathered an army of missionaries and left England, promising that he would convert the entire whole of India Christianity, having collected an excessive amount of money from the people of England and assurances. And he says, but attack based on argument that Jesus was alive in heaven in physical body, while all of the prophets were
Time's up.
Were buried in the earth.
Mirza,
can I finish this reference? Let me finish this reference and then you can take more time. Let me finish this reference so you can address it as well. He said, but the attack based on argument that Jesus was alive in heaven in his physical body while all the prophets were buried in the earth was in his view proving to be effective upon the general public. At that juncture, Maulvi Ghulam Ahmad Qadian stood up and addressed Lefroy and his group saying, the Jesus you talk about is dead and buried like other mortals. And the Jesus is prophesied in myself, so you must accept me. And he says, by this means,
no problem.
He made things
you're taking 2 minutes now. Come on, Ahmed.
So difficult for Lefroy. I'm finishing last 3 lines.
No, but you can't do that. I mean, you should stick to your time.
He could not.
You guys complain when we don't.
In this way, he said. Last
complete it in your next round.
Last line.
By the way, I don't think this is helping, to be honest, because here we are saying this follows this. The main elephant in the room is being ignored here. You know,
in this way, let me finish this last
fact that you somehow sound like, just like Mirza, you know, you're supporting an oppressive ruler, an oppressive regime here, clearly. And by the way, you know, when you say about freedom of religion,
can I ask you a question?
No, Ahmed, wait a minute.
Okay,
when you talk about freedom of religion, does that include freedom to, you know, trade, for example? Freedom to do your business? Because in Islam, all of this, you know, in the Sharia, all of this is part of Islam. For you, not just freedom of religion means not for you to go to your masjid and that's it, but for you to live your livelihood. You know what the British did? They actually completely demolished the Indian manufacturing, trade, and everything at all of it. What they used to do is they used to tax the Indians heavily. Then they used to use that tax money to buy their own products. Yes, that means they basically got it free. Then they would send this to Britain.
My point
and then buy that same product using the Indian money.
I'm saying this is what the colonialists do. This is what the colonialists do.
So it's not just killing human beings.
People,
basically starving everyone to death,
let him speak.
Causing a famine in the country.
Yeah, I agree. What I'm saying is, this is what the colonialists do. Whoever takes over.
So don't support them.
People,
don't support
that's what
them.
they do.
Don't support them. I haven't seen you say once we should actually be against the oppressors. I've not heard you say that.
Killing of a Muslim or a non-Muslim based on colonialism, it's condemnable. What the Promised Messiah ﷺ praised, what was the freedom of religion that they provided, right? This nobody can deny. He's come out of nowhere. He's come out of nowhere to suggest that they didn't provide this.
Okay, Adnan wants to say something. Right, Adnan.
When we speak over each other, because when my headphones are off, I know my voice doesn't go through; it gets cut. Okay, so please be. I have questions. Hashim has raised some very good points. Okay, that we are missing the elephant in the room. You will discuss nitty-gritties with me. I will present this, I'll present that, and you will present this and you'll present that. Okay?
Yeah.
And these discussions require details. This is why we started the discussion with basic facts. Basic facts. Let's not get into, like, for example, there's a dead body. You come to a dead body and you say, oh, you know what? The eyes are fine, the ears are fine, but the body is dead. Okay? The actual fact that we need to talk about is that the person is dead. Forget about the ear and the eye, okay? If the British did not mutilate the eye, if they did not mutilate the ear or a finger, that doesn't mean the body was living. The body was dying, okay? The British colonial rule was evil. It was racist. It was genocidal.
You want to ask me a question?
Wait. When I mention these things, for some reason you start fidgeting when I mention these things.
Because you mentioned it like 10,000 times.
Okay.
Like I've heard it.
Firstly. Okay, let's go step by step. Ahmed, I'm going to ask you a direct question. Was the British colonial rule evil? Number one. Yes or no?